This is the Nerd Academy Podcast, episode 55.
The Nerd Academy Podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy Podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast, the show where your favorite nerds bring you all the news and commentary in the realm of geekdom. I am your host and headmaster, Jared Bachman-Stubbs, and on the show today, we have your resident Green Lantern, Professor Travis Grossman.
That chicken's hitting you bad, isn't it?
Yeah. I love that out of context. Can that be the quote this week? That chicken is hitting you bad.
That was a hard stumble of an intro.
We haven't updated that in a while.
We haven't had a show in a month.
Yeah, there's that. Good God, I'm so sorry. My lunch is not sitting well with me, so bear with us. And we have everyone's favorite Themysciran princess, Professor Lexi Capel.
Sup?
And then we have the disembodied voice of Joel.
Ow. That hurt my ears. But yes, hello.
You don't have ears, you're just a voice.
He lives in the
Touché.
computer like Connor.
Yes, he lives in the computer like Connor. Joel got trapped. It's like a WandaVision. We're trying to wake him up, which we will be talking about.
Which we didn't watch.
I watched.
Well,
twice.
But you said we were going to watch it before the episode.
I was expecting you to just put it on in here. You didn't.
Whoops.
So earmuffs for Joel when we get to that section. But yeah, this is going to be a fun show. We'll see if I survive it with a very upset tummy. Yeah, we're just going to jump into our first story this week. God damn, I feel like ass. Okay. Chris Evans might be Captain America again, which is interesting while this Variety article loads. Basically, Deadline braked a...
Well,
Deadline broke an exclusive that Variety has expanded upon, that allegedly Chris Evans is in talks to reprise his role as Captain Steve Rogers. Whenever the news was circulating Twitter, he retweeted one of the articles saying, "That's news to me. It is also not rare for anybody involved with any Disney or Marvel projects to bold-faced lie about whether or not they are involved." That said, from everything we're hearing, it would not be as he is the lead in another Captain America project. Rather, he would be appearing in somebody else's show or movie, a la Doctor Strange in Spider-Man or Scarlet Witch in Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, so Chris Evans is denying it currently, but a lot of the trades are reporting it. Now, obviously, everything is always in motion, so who knows if this actually comes to fruition. Yeah, Travis, thoughts?
Really quick. Joel, is the video lagging for you?
we have discussed this ahead of time, and it's not a problem.
Okay. Just making sure. Just...
Good looking out.
Because I know I look super fidgety right now because I keep looking at myself lagging on the screen and it's bugging me out. Not like it's, you don't have to stop it, it's fine, but I'm going to keep playing with it because I look funny.
Unfortunately, there are certain things that we were running into some trouble here, and
but it'll look fine on the output.
No.
Oh.
We're just going to keep moving.
Nothing I can do about it.
We're figuring this out in real time. You guys get to grow with us.
Yeah.
Did your shoulder crack when you did that?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I heard a pop. I thought I heard a whenever you... Okay, continue. I'm sorry. I'm hallucinating. It's the chicken.
chicken hallucinations.
Yes.
KFC will do that to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't so very surprising. It's not like again. It's probably just like a cameo in maybe like Secret Wars or something, or Secret Invasion.
Yeah. I was trying to be subtle. Can you turn the mic up a little bit? That side. Thank you. Oh.
There's no being subtle anymore, Jared.
No. I also went to like hand motion at it, forgetting there's a camera right there that will pick up me doing one of these. So, God, I am off it. Okay, that's good.
We all are.
We all are.
This is my first time on screen, so I'm just like fixing my hair and like looking at myself.
Well, the video caught up, so like
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. No, we're not going to start over. It's okay. I don't know what response you were expecting there, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm not so much surprised by the news, so much as I am surprised by how soon it has come.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Like, I really thought we were going to get longer of an absence of the old heads. I mean, say for Hemsworth, but
Yeah. I mean, and again, it might just be as like cameo stuff. Technically, RDJ isn't done as Tony Stark because of What If.
yeah, as of What If, there also were rumors not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, about RDJ coming back for something, and that's probably Ironheart to be like the Tony AI that's inside of that suit that he left Riri. So that might be a part of it. I'm not surprised to still see some of the old heads kicking around. I just really was not expecting any returns yet. I'm really hoping, and granted the language here in the article really does imply that we aren't looking at a situation where he's coming back to the role of Captain America, like in universe, like Steve is not taking the shield back up.
Yeah.
Or at least in no serious way, because I got kind of nervous that this was going to mean that Sam's tenure as Captain America was going to be short-lived. And that really started to spook me. But this gives me a lot of hope on that front. Also, yes, I'm aware of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier suit leak. Yes, I'm upset that I saw it. Yes, it looks incredible. It looks exactly like it did in the comic. That's all we're saying about it. I'm mad I saw it on Twitter.
I did not, and I kind of want to.
Was it an accident, or did somebody...
This time, it was just, I was scrolling Twitter.
Okay.
And
I thought somebody purposefully, like...
No, not like Endgame.
Okay.
Not like whatever son of a bitch ruined Endgame for me. Not ruined. It was just Sam. It's Sam. Him being Captain America refuses to stay a mystery for me. But no, the suit looks great. It was an action figure.
That makes sense.
Like merchandise is getting ready to ship out, and somebody went, "Oh, neat!" And the suit looks great though. Lexi, thoughts on the return of Chris Evans?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Mine's gonna be short.
Batwoman started again today, and I haven't finished season 1 of that show. So.
Have fun.
I don't know. It's Chris Evans, and I like him as Captain America a lot.
So, over under, what do you think he's gonna bicep curl this time? Because he already did a helicopter.
That might be one of my favorite memes I've ever sent to the chat. Did you see that, Joel? You haven't seen WandaVision yet, so you wouldn't even get the joke. So
Nope.
Watch WandaVision tonight and then look at the meme I sent in the chat. It's gold. I don't know. Okay, here's a crazy thought. And I don't necessarily
Okay.
I don't necessarily think this is gonna happen. What if we get Secret Empire Nazi Cap?
Nah, they wouldn't do that. I don't think Chris Evans would sign off on that.
You don't think?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know. Part of me would like to see it because I'm in the minority of people who think that Secret Empire is actually an underrated masterpiece.
It's not because I think it's bad or because any of that stuff. I think he personally would not feel comfortable portraying a Nazi.
I don't know who would.
That's true.
Then again, there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are very good at playing that specific type of bastard. But I don't know. I personally would like to see Hydra Cap, but the odds are very low. Technically in the MCU, they made it very clear that Hydra aren't Nazis.
That's true.
For what it's worth, they made a very clear distinction that Red Skull was very the Third Reich is a means to an end. I don't give a shit about anything you have to say, which in my opinion kind of makes him more evil. But anyway, Joel, before we move on, thoughts on the return of Captain America potentially?
There will never be any other Captain America. Ever.
But Sam.
I don't give a shit about Sam. He's not my Captain America.
Okay, so we're going to move along now because before Joel accidentally cancels himself. Quickie story that's already been confirmed, but it was making the rounds again. Yes, there's going to be a third Deadpool movie. Yes, it's going to be in the MCU. Yes, it's going to be R-rated. I don't know how many times the story needs to be confirmed for people to stop printing headlines like it's the first time we've heard about it. Moving on.
Ooh, we get to do the fun one already?
Yeah, we get to the fun one now.
Eee.
There's a lot of things I wish we could leave in 2020. One of them being the Ray Fisher drama with Warner Brothers. We've said before, we support him in his fight and hope everything, all the bullshit that has happened comes to light. And in my opinion, unlikely event that anything he's saying is horse shit, which I don't think it is, comes to light. That said, Ray Fisher has officially announced that he is exiting The Flash and will no longer be appearing as Cyborg in the Flash movie. His comment on Twitter reads as follows. Son of a bitch, that is tiny. Okay. Hold on. We're going to zoom in. Oh!
Would you like me?
Would you mind? Here, so everybody just clap your hands and you'll give Travis the ability to read. Everybody work together. It's like, I believe in fairies. I believe in fairies. I believe Travis can read. I have it linked in the notes. It's the second link in this story.
Oh, yeah, that's just the tweet. Look at that. Okay. I can't read.
Son of a bitch. Don't do this bit on me now. My stomach's upset.
I have received official confirmation that Warner Brothers Pictures has decided to remove me from the cast of The Flash. This is news to me because I didn't know that movie was still happening. That's not part of the statement. That's his personal. I strongly disagree with their decision, but it is one that is unsurprising. Despite the misconception, Cyborg's involvement in The Flash was much larger than a cameo, and while I do mourn the lost opportunity to bring Victor Stone back to the screen, bringing awareness to the actions of Walter Hamada will prove to be a much more important contribution to our world. On December 30th, 2020, I made it clear that I cannot, with a clear conscience, participate in any production associated with the current president of DC Films, Walter Hamada. Which, again, should allow him to work on The Flash, because it's not going to be a film. Why did that assume?
I'm glad you're having as many issues as reading it as I was pulling it up.
The reasoning behind the decision was twofold. Walter's purposeful attempt to undermine the Justice League investigation in order to protect his family and former co-president Jeff Johns. Walter's attempt to protect himself by contributing to the public dissemination of lies and misinformation about myself and the Justice League investigation in Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to The Wrap. Bear in mind, Walter Hamada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a completely separate issue from the investigation itself, and while Walter's behavior was not a point of focus for the investigation of the reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called to account. Excuse me. On July 7th, 2020, during a 57-minute-long phone call with Walter, I made multiple attempts to to have a him escalate my claims of misconduct against Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, and John Berg through the proper channels. No, I didn't misread that. Rather than escalate the situation when initially asked, Walter disparaged Joss Whedon and John Berg in an attempt to cover for Jeff Johns while I altered. So he's just telling the story of what we already know. I don't think there's anything else here that we don't already know.
Well, all that said, I think this is a really, really ugly move on DC Warner's part. If things turn out to be very founded and everything that Ray Fisher is saying does truly come to pass as he has said that it did, I cannot understate how gross and disappointing this is, that they took the time to basically axe him from the project. I think that's shitty, personally. I think that's a really good way of making yourself look more guilty on a movie you're already going to have trouble marketing, because we still don't have any answers on the whole Ezra Miller's choke slamming a woman thing. So between that and this, if it weren't for this show, I would probably be skipping the Flash movie, all things considered.
I reiterate, what movie?
If it even happens. And again, I think they're aware of how much this is damaged goods. And I truly, a little bit of tinfoil hat here, I think there's a reason why they made the decision to incorporate both Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in this. And I truly think it is to market it better. And I think that between it being a Flash movie and them not being completely sold on the viability of Flash as a character to franchise, on top of knowing that there's going to be some bad juju the closer we get to this movie, I would not be surprised if that is the strategy with having there be two versions of Batman in it. And well, that's coming from me, who can tell that there's a little bit of...
They're there because of Flashpoint. And that's just going to make it worse, because it's not going to be a good Flashpoint movie. You know?
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I can only hope that the investigation was thorough and that we find out everything that did truly happen. Until then, like I said, it's kind of hard for us to weigh in either direction. It's unfortunate Cyborg is out. I did see rumors that they are working on recasting Cyborg. I am not completely sold on that. I would sooner assume that they've written Victor Stone out rather than recast him.
Well, it depends on how dedicated to Flashpoint they are.
Agreed.
But
this is also the same universe and same executive producer who thought that The Dark Knight Returns, The Death of Superman, and The Foundation of the Justice League can all be the same story. So do with that what you will.
I don't have much faith in DC, so
I think that's a safe call.
It's unfortunate. That's how I feel. So
yeah. So we're going to leave that story where it is. As it develops further, obviously we will be covering it. We've been covering this story very closely, and hopefully it has a happier ending than it looks. And
now for a movie that is happening.
No,
Spider-Man.
Here, this will be fun to piss off Joel. So Spider-Man 3 is going to be a Christmas movie.
My ass, it will.
It takes place at Christmas time. There's Christmas trees
that
and there's
doesn't make
snow.
it a Christmas
yes,
movie.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
no,
does.
No, it doesn't.
I hope that it is called Spider-Man Home for the Holidays, and you just have to eat that. I really do. I really hope that's how that goes down. We do have a new batch of set photos from the set of the third Spider-Man movie. We see MJ looking kind of like she's doing some waitressing. Joel is having fun with the camera.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it
I
looks like
just saw on the monitor us like tilting, and I didn't know what
To be
was
fair,
happening.
it fell.
It
Joel-
fell and he switched off to fix it.
Oh,
And then when I switched
Oh.
it back,
oh, oh.
you know what I think it is, Joel? I think it's the chicken.
It's the chicken.
I think it's the chicken.
Camera shouldn't eat into that chicken.
No, it shouldn't be.
Ever watched a camera eat? It's kind of disturbing.
It just opens the lens back really wide and then just
Absorbs.
Yes, absorbs.
How many rows of teeth do you think it has?
Oh, we're talking some Sarlacc shit.
One for every megapixel.
so you were saying that.
It's
so
like
you're
the
saying
ball
that
of the
Spider-Man is not a Christmas movie. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Wrong. But it looks like we got MJ with a waitressing gig. We have a surprisingly not incognito Peter Parker here. Which you'd think he'd be in the stereotypical Marvel Cinematic Universe disguise of hat, hoodie, sunglasses. Nobody will recognize you. But alas, he is not. We have him out in broad daylight here at a store, and him walking out of a store with a menorah on the window. What are you laughing at? What did I flub? What did I
Look
say?
at Joel right now.
Where is he?
Exactly.
Oh my god!
He's just hugging the radiator.
It's right up there whenever he
The
took a
only
nap.
heat source in the room.
So yeah, new set photos. Gonna flip through here a little bit more. It looks like there were some small alterations to the suit, but we are still getting the red and black, which makes me very happy. And the other wave of news here from the set of Spider-Man is that allegedly, even though there aren't any pictures of it, allegedly, Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock, has wrapped his filming on the project. Like we said before, we are still going to treat the Daredevil stuff like rumors. At least for me, I am not going to get too invested in the rumors because I don't want to be let down if Matt doesn't show up. But things are looking good, and it sounds like he has wrapped his involvement on the project. So since he's not there anymore, it's probably going to be a very limited role in the movie. I know whenever the story first broke with all the other wave of Spider-Man craziness the same week as the Disney investor call, we were talking about how maybe he gets involved at the very beginning in some type of either I have to bring Peter Parker to justice or, fingers crossed, representing Peter Parker in court. Which I really hope it's that second one. I hope it's both. I hope it's kind of like the, great idea. So you do it like the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, where there's that storyline where Peter Parker is framed for murder. Spider-Man's framed for murder, but in this situation, his identity's been exposed. So whichever direction you want to take that in. And Daredevil starts hunting Spider-Man to help bring him down, but then Peter convinces him otherwise, and then Matt shows up to defend him in court. I think you could do that here, and I think that'd be really interesting. I feel like I'm just gonna die right now because my stomach feels terrible, but I'm still pitching. We still got ideas here.
Good.
Also, I apologize that we are lightning rounding the news, but
There's a lot of it.
there's a lot of it, and I want to die. There are a few stories that I get this excited for, just because the novelty of it and the fact that we've kind of established a brand around these parts. So the fact that a Batman story is tied up with a new flavor of Mountain Dew really entertains me. But by the looks of it, a new Mountain Dew flavor to commemorate the Batman called the Riddler's Brew, which I know a lot of people are hoping is just the return of Dark Berry from The Dark Knight Rises, may have shown us our first real look at the Batman. Jesus Christ. The Riddler costume in The Batman.
The Batman.
So yeah, I can't tell if the question mark here on the logo or on him is part of the logo or if that is on Nigma himself. But it also looks like he does have some type of mask on, aside from the duct tape done up version that we saw in the trailer. So I'm glad to see we'll actually see a Riddler costume in the movie by the looks of it, aside from just tape all over Enigma's face.
That's all Enigma deserves.
Ooh,
Hot
Riddler.
take.
We got some Riddler slander in these parts. It's going to take you to like a 15th article. And
Yeah.
there.
I wish I could drink Mountain Dew again. I have really bad anxiety, if y'all didn't know. So, caffeinated things gets me going. So I don't drink caffeine anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe they'll make a decaf version for.
They won't.
They won't.
They won't. It's okay. That's why I drink my ginger ale. My sun-kissed.
I hate ginger ale.
And you're wrong, and it's okay.
Just like how he's wrong about Spider-Man 3 being a Christmas
I will come
movie.
across this studio. It is going to be a Christmas movie.
What would you do if Santa Claus himself showed up? Like, not a street Santa. Like, Marvel's Santa Claus showed up in Spider-Man 3.
Then it would be a Christmas movie because it would be about Christmas.
But it looks like Peter's getting somebody a gift, so we're going to have like the Christmas spirit ingrained in the movie.
Not how that works.
Oh, God, I cannot wait for you to be wrong. I also recently found out that apparently in Marvel lore, Santa is like a high-end power mutant.
Yeah.
He's not magical or anything like that. He's a straight-up mutant.
Yeah. In DC, he makes sure every year to go visit Darkseid and give him a lump of coal.
So is it like an It thing? Like Pennywise type thing? You know how he's a clown and that's his, like, race?
No,
Race Santa Claus.
No, he is the form of Santa is actually a thing. Like he actually is just straight up Santa Claus. He's just able to do all the Santa things,
Because he's a hyper mutant.
like Jean Grey, Professor X level
I
power.
still feel like it would be almost a Pennywise situation.
I think
I mean, in some versions he's not in Marvel, but in some versions he's an elf. Like he's just a really powerful elf.
Can we do an episode on Santa lore for Christmas time now?
I don't think any of us are all that read up on it.
We
but-
can become read up on it.
Anyway, the next thing. What is
Okay,
it?
well,
Oh yeah, yay, Snyder Cut, my favorite.
I'm gonna check out.
That's fine.
brain off.
And if you look over there, you'll see that I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
So, I didn't know why you were holding up 3 fingers.
Why is he pointing like that?
Joel, are you able to like show my computer screen right now? Is that a thing? So we can show the lovely people what Travis is referring to exactly. Is that a thing you can do?
He's working on it.
Because this picture of Snyder is quite funny.
Is it on Chrome?
Yes.
Well, it should be capturing Chrome right now, but it's not.
That's really upsetting.
It's okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Take your time. So we have official confirmation because God knows that the Snyder Cut news is consistent always and never overly and unnecessarily confusing. But, pardon me. I feel like garbage. We are getting official confirmation that no longer are they going to be releasing the Snyder Cut as a 4-part miniseries and then a re-release as one long 4-hour movie. No, ladies and germs, we are getting the Snyder Cut as one 4-hour long movie at release on HBO Max. Most likely. There it is. Yeah, why is he pointing like that? It looks like some Hunger Games shit, TBH. TB quite H.
TB quite H. I want to beat the shit out of you now. This is what it feels like to be old. Camera here.
Yeah, he got rid of the camera to hide the fact that you're about to beat my ass. Not the stomach, no, the chicken. So all of this made even funnier by the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting.
What was that?
A chicken.
I don't think that was the noise of a chicken.
Did you
my
just
friend.
do? Okay. Sorry.
On a related note, hey Lexi,
Yeah.
can I get an awa awa?
Oh no. Not everybody's gonna know.
Anyway,
TikTok.
yeah, it's a TikTok thing. But yeah, so on Vero, the social media app used only by Snyder and his cultists, someone asked, so is this still a series or a one-shot watch of a movie?
Sorry. Is Vero just not problematic Parlor?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's Snyder Parlor.
Did you see Parlor's back up?
Yeah, with the help of a Russian company. It's not this podcast. So this person asked, so is it still a series or a one-shot watch of a movie? And Snyder is now saying that it is a one-shot. So, do away with the whole 4-hour cut and it's split up into episodes thing. You are just dedicating a very long night to the Snyder cut.
Now, the funniest part is in like 2 weeks when Warner Brothers is to come out of the way and go, no. He means it was filmed to be one thing. And we're releasing it in parts and then all at once.
What do you think is the cause for all of the inconsistency with this?
Zack Snyder.
Do you think it's just him talking too much and
Yes.
that's gumming up the works?
Yes. 100%.
He talked a lot of game about how his version, like even before we got the confirmation of the Snyder Cut being a thing, he talked a lot of game about how his version was always really long. And how Justice League originally was meant to be split up into 2 movies. That said, I really do think we've arrived at this runtime because of the shit he's added. I really think the reshoots of the movie that was made infamous because of its reshoots have turned it into a 4-hour monstrosity, and I think he might have been talking more smack than he could actually cash. I'm mixing my metaphors really badly there, but I don't know if it was quite as long as he was saying it was.
No.
And then they dropped 70 mil on reshoots to actually cash that check.
Yeah, I think it was probably like 3.5 to 3 hours, somewhere in there. And then he was like, my version's 4 hours long. And like, well, we have to make it 4 hours long. Right? I think also just him not knowing what he wants to say or what he wants, you know?
Yeah, what I'm really interested in now, especially knowing that we're back to being a movie, completely a movie, is that in the same way that the Clone Wars movie, for example, how the Clone Wars movie is just them taking the first few episodes of the show and cutting it into a movie, which was a grave mistake. Because there's versions of it that I've watched where they split that whole story of them rescuing Jabba's son, and it's so much better as episodes.
I think, well, and that's the thing. I think part of the reason, again, assuming that this is legit, because the way that not tweet reads is that
Not
it's
tweet.
because his ideal viewing is black and white in IMAX, and this isn't getting a theatrical release.
That we know of.
Well, and the reason I say that is because HBO Max did a promo cut for all the stuff that was going to be simul-released, and it was not in that promo.
The only devil's advocate I can provide you with on that one
Well,
is that they're already super hella promoting the Snyder Cut in the other HBO Max ads that lead with Wonder Woman the Game of Thrones spin-off and a bunch of the other stuff they have as their IP.
Yeah, that's fine, but it's not the stuff specifically that's going to theaters and on their service at the same time. It might get a theatrical cut or theatrical release later, like after it's come out,
Yeah.
as like an event. But yeah, no, so that's not happening. And again, he might have said that meaning it's meant to be watched in one shot, not it's releasing, unless he clarified somewhere else.
I haven't seen anything of him clarifying it.
Exactly. Gee, I wonder why.
He has a knack for doing that.
But I think if they switched it, the reason was they couldn't find good places to break it. A lot of times with these movies that are, one story told over like 2 or 3 movies, that's where the story is written beforehand. Usually if a book is split into 2 parts, they have a hard time bringing the first movie to a close that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? You never watch Harry Potter 7 Part 1 on its own. You can watch Part 2 on its own. But watching Part 1 on its own is kind of boring because it's all just like the first act.
It's all set up for...
And they have to make up a climax for that movie. Same kind of thing. They had no way to make the first 2 or even 3 episodes of this interesting enough on their own.
Yeah, I think that's where the extra stuff they shot comes into play. I think that's where, oh hey, Joker and Deathstroke are really involved in this in the front chunk for some reason. I think maybe that what might have been what they were attempting is we're going to introduce a Joker plot line and we're going to introduce a Deathstroke plot line that will keep the story propped up, also accounting for the fact that Darkseid and Steppenwolf are involved. Which, even in a 4-hour movie, having Darkseid, Joker, and Deathstroke all headlining villains, and I refuse to call Steppenwolf a headlining villain, just because I don't think he's worthy of that. I really don't. I still don't know why we're dying on the Steppenwolf hill. I don't know why we couldn't just write him out and have Darkseid take complete center stage. I don't know why we're including Steppenwolf, but whatever. I think that it's a really weird choice to try to balance those 3 villains who are all huge in DC lore, 2 of which are super involved with Batman, who, if I remember correctly, they said Affleck wasn't back for reshoots.
No, he was.
He was?
Yes.
Was it just Cavill then?
Yeah, Cavill was not.
Cavill was not. So Affleck was there.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, well in that case they probably could do some stuff around Bruce, Joker, and Slade, but still, I think that may be what they were trying to remedy was we need to ratchet up the stakes, ratchet up the excitement for each episode, for each part, and then let the final part be the big battle between the League and the Apocalypse folks. Lexi, you didn't seem too thrilled about the Snyder Cut being a 4-hour movie.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. And I don't know. I think it would be a fun watch if we all watched it together. But
you guys haven't seen me watch Titans live, experiencing something I viscerally hate for the first time. This might be that first time.
I'm so excited. Well, here's the other fun part. And I don't think you were on for this episode, if the rumors prove true, he's trying to release the Snyder Cut of Justice League on the anniversary of Batman v Superman, which would be March 25th.
oh, happy birthday, Jared.
You get a bad 4-hour movie.
I get an incredible 4 hours well spent watching gutter trash. And I'm so excited for it. But no,
Can we please watch it together?
We
Yes.
need to.
Okay.
We will set up in here. We will just do a live reaction some way. And maybe that can just be our review, is just an audio commentary of us just, are you kidding me? What? We're
going to have to market the Helen bag with explicit or we're gonna have to get real good with some sensors. Because I tell you what, boy, I tell you what.
I say. I'm so excited for it. And it just gets weirder every day. Like, I can't...
Didn't the one general, like, come out and say he was Martian Manhunter?
No, Snyder showed concept art of that general.
No. Recently, he came out and said...
Wait, what was it?
I'll let you.
The one general in BVS.
He's also in Man of Steel.
Oh, and he's a Man of Steel. Zack Snyder, back during the Snyder Cut is real shenanigans he had going, said, and that general was supposed to be Martian Manhunter. And then...
Even though he doesn't go by the name John Jones at all.
And then the actor apparently came out last week or something and confirmed it. But
Was this a last minute thing that they just shoehorned in? Or
Probably.
Was this, okay.
I don't know if he'll be
Of course.
appearing as...
or if that was the
Manhunter?
original intention.
But if this is supposed to be Zack Snyder's original vision, why is Martian Manhunter not in it?
Exactly.
But yeah, there was apparently some scene either at the end of BVS or at the end of Justice League, I believe it's Justice League, that shows this general kind of just like, all right, guys, good day at the war. I'll see you tomorrow. And like walking away, but through a wall and then turning green.
He just
with
likes
the
to
blue
do the
outfit.
J.K. Rowling thing. Of,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That's really annoying.
I will give Zack Snyder this. At least he's not a transphobe.
This is true.
Yes.
He's not a turf.
Yes, he's a really unsettling dude, bro, with some of the implied politics of his fiction, but he's not transphobic, and that's good. There's Joel. Hi, Joel. Joel has an arm now. Oh, they can't see us. Shit. Never mind. Joel stole a voice. I can't get to the notes now because he's doing his thing. So what's
There's
the
an
next one?
Indiana Jones game coming.
I know you keep telling me not to be excited for this, but I can't not be excited for this.
Here's my issue. Uncharted exists. This game will probably not be as good as Uncharted. It will get compared to Uncharted in every aspect, and it most likely will not be as good. Now, it's not adapting any of the movies, which is a plus,
I like that a lot.
because they can write a story. So, like, it's the difference of Force Unleashed or Fallen Order compared to a movie tie-in game. They're not stuck with the plot. They can write something that fits a video game, right? The problem is Uncharted is kind of the king of adventuring treasure hunter with action set pieces that look like a movie, but you're playing the game and it's kind of just perfect. And I don't see how they do this any better. I don't even remember what studio. It's Bethesda. Oh God, it's Bethesda.
That was why you were telling me not to get excited.
Yeah, and Todd Howard's an executive producer, so it's going to be buggy as shit, but don't worry, it just works.
I will take my chances, and here is why. I've never played Uncharted. I've never experienced those games. I never had the chance to because I've always been an Xbox kid. As an Xbox kid, I never got a chance to play Uncharted. Are you trying to catch a fish?
I caught the fish.
Oh, good job.
Smash
proud
the
of
fish?
No, I caught him.
You went,
you. Good job.
Yeah, he's indestructible.
okay.
Anywho, I never played Uncharted as much as I'd like to. I never have. And there's just something that excites me a lot about playing an Indiana Jones game. And just that whole premise really excites me. And Joel and I touched on this when we were doing this most recent episode of Knights of the Nerd Republic where this came up. And I said, I am aware of the fact that this will probably be a buggy, glitchy nightmare. And I struggle to give a damn.
This has nothing to do with the topic. Which way am I supposed to be wearing these? This
So there's
way
an
or
L and
this
an
way?
R on there.
Oh. Well, I guess that's left. Thank you.
The
I had
L-
it right the first time.
The L is for Lexi.
Or left.
The R is for rhombus.
I can't roll my R's. Somebody roll their R's and go rhombus.
Rhombus.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm really excited for this. I want to see what they do. Because like you just said, it's not going to be like a video game retelling of Raiders or Last Crusade. Or
Then it would be like definitively like just awful. It would be so bad.
Probably. It would probably be really rough. I have a hard time imagining them pulling that off. As exciting as the Indiana Jones movies are to watch, I don't know if they'd make for good gameplay.
Exactly. Movies are good as movies and games are good as games. And they don't work well together for a lot of reasons. We can talk about that on our Assassin's Creed Valhalla review that isn't now, but is coming.
It will be a thing eventually. That said, I really look forward to how they create a video game-based Indiana Jones story. Because even though the movies aren't that, I don't think it would be very hard to do it.
Yeah, it's called Uncharted. Jared, there's no way around it. It's going to be a ripoff of Uncharted.
I hesitate to say that, though, because just because certain stories share elements doesn't mean that one is necessarily a ripoff of it, though.
No, and
It's like The Force Awakens, A New Hope comparison.
no, it's not. It's not that the so okay.
I'm just distracted by the pretty lights. I saw it change and I was like, ooh.
As for scripting, it's probably going to be fine. Like, as a story, it'll be okay. Gameplay-wise, it'll be a subpar Uncharted game.
I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong, too. I don't want things to be bad. I don't want the Snyder Cut to be bad. I'm just not an idiot.
I've been paying attention. No, I do think it is risky inherently to try to open this can of worms, as I know Bethesda is almost as much damaged goods as EA is at this point.
Not that bad.
Not that bad, but I feel like there's still a level of general distrust with the player base.
Yeah, at this point. Because, like...
Because after Fallout, what, 4?
Fallout 4 wasn't great, and then Fallout 76 was...
76, that was the one that was borderline unplayable.
Yeah. Hey, they're making Elder Scrolls at some point. One day.
Some point, one day.
I saw some people getting very upset about there being an Elder Scrolls or a Indiana Jones announcement, but nothing for Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And to that I say, I don't give a damn about Elder Scrolls. I want to do the whip. And oh goddamn!
I was hoping no one would say it. But yeah,
I'm disgusted with you. That was such low hanging fruit. It wasn't even hanging; it was on the ground.
He's a grandpa.
it was dead, Joel.
But yeah, very excited for this. I am trying to see what game is going to have to come out to make Spencer play a new game that isn't Mordor. And I'm wondering if an Indiana Jones action-adventure game is what it takes for him to play a new IP. Granted, I don't think Indiana Jones is generally that hard of a sell for him, but I'm hoping it is so that we can... I want to talk Indiana Jones with him, and I'm excited. I was watching Last Crusade at work the other night.
I've only seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull the entire way through.
Honey, no.
It was on a bus.
Of course it was. I want... Dimes to donuts, how many of your movie experiences happen on a bus?
Probably at least a fifth.
10 dimes to a dozen.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we're going to transition to our last story here before we get into WandaVision talk. Joel, will your disembodied voice take us away?
I would, if my computer would cooperate for one moment. There we go. So I know nothing of what the story was because I was too busy
Yeah.
fixing the
It's
camera.
Lord of the Rings related, so I figured I'd give it to you.
All right. I have no idea what's happening. I'm scrolling and I don't understand what it's saying.
I must be bad luck in this news studio.
This is.
No.
I think I am.
No.
Are we announcing what they said has already been announced?
They announced that they released like a synopsis, if I'm not mistaken, is the headline.
Official description of the Lord of the Rings TV series.
Yes.
Amazon Studios' forthcoming series brings to screens for the very first time the heroic legends of the fabled Second Age of Middle-earth's history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared re-emergence of evil to Middle-earth. From the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon, to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor, to the furthest reaches of the map, these kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they are gone.
Can you imagine what would have happened if I tried to read any of that?
You would have been like,
The Rings of the Lords.
The
The Ring of the Lords.
Ring of the Lords.
I'm very excited about it, just in general.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, sure.
As somebody with
You're
very
Continue.
Spider-Man's not a Christmas movie.
I listen.
Thank you.
Sorry. Not sorry.
We haven't even seen it yet. You don't know. It could be.
I suppose you have a point.
Tobey Maguire is not, in fact, playing his old version of Spider-Man.
He
is playing Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Papa Noel.
No, that's Andrew Garfield.
Papa Noel.
Jesus. Okay, so is the
Jesus.
Kris Kringle.
no? I just
Saint Nick.
there's a part of my brain that can't let go of like Tom Holland Spider-Man just Papa Noel like oh Mr. Stark.
Saint Nick.
All I imagine right now is that scene in the Santa Claus movie whenever he's been arrested. And it's like, name Santa Claus. And then he goes through a million other.
Like Kris Kringle.
Yeah. And then
Saint Nick.
And then he's a ba ba hoo or something. I don't know what he says. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't remember him going ba ba hoo ah at all. Quite frankly,
He pulls in the Tim Allen thing.
where he just goes.
Not quite.
Don't try to put it on. The mouse will come for our throats.
What is happening to this episode?
Gotta whack those Nerd Academy bastards for playing the Santa Claus on air. Anyway, Joel, back to Lord of the Rings. Thanks for shaking the shit out of the shot.
As if it wasn't already.
Hey, it wasn't vibrating from Joel like violently beating his computer.
Next thing you see, the camera just flies
Yes.
across the room.
Is this like the little prologue at the beginning of Fellowship, basically? With like the quote unquote first coming of Sauron? Because I can't think of like a
Yes,
greater
and-
villain to come from
and-
Tolkien's pen.
Yes and no. But short answer, yes.
So I wasn't entirely wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the general gist is that it's coming from the past, prior to The Hobbit. I don't know if we're talking about like the era of Isildur, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe even prior to that. So it's saying prior to the Lord of the Rings movies. It's saying prior to even the flashbacks of the Lord of the Rings movies. That's what I would assume.
Okay.
Sauron was a threat way before that flashback. That flashback was the end of the threat. The flashback was him dying.
Yeah.
And this series is to cover when he was in his fullest power.
I like that. I like that a lot. That excites me. I also, and maybe they've expanded upon this and have explained this. I'm not sure yet, but I kind of hope they're doing a. Okay, here's another question: how well covered is that era in the books? Like, is this what the Silmarillion is basically?
Well, frankly, it has to be what's considered canon somehow. So it has to come from some books. I don't know which ones.
Well, I'll give this example: the Watchmen series that was on HBO a year or two ago. The series was not a sequel or tie-in to the movie written and directed by Zack Snyder. So bad. He can have Batman kill all the people with a gun, as many as he wants. He will never screw the pooch as bad as he did with Watchmen, and I will take that to the grave. But it was a show that was a sequel to the Watchmen comic, like the original source material. And the show is canon to the comic, and it has nothing to do with the movie.
The thing
do you
is,
think this is meant to be canon to the books, or is this meant to tie in with the films?
I think it is. The thing is that I don't think you understand the absolute breadth of the books there are. Like, there are at least 20 to 30 other books that cover information prior to The Hobbit. And I have not read them all. So I can't tell you, it doesn't give you enough information from where in the storyline it actually comes from.
Well, in that case, what would you like to see? If you aren't able to give an educated guess, what would you want to see?
I don't know. All of it? Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. That's what I want? Yes.
Well, frankly, I wouldn't want... personally, I'm more interested in... I can't remember his freaking name. And my keyboard won't act... Oh, it's working now.
Is his name Baba Ga'u? Or is it Sa'um Ba'u?
Yes.
The more you do that, the more you're just going to sound like Paco the Lester from Attack of the Clones.
Wagumbo.
I wish
I'd
Mike
like
were
this
here.
to stop.
No.
Right. Okay. I want to see the series after the Lord of the Rings and under King Elisar, which is Aragorn, and like the era of Elisar, because I think that information would be extremely intriguing, because at the end of the Lord of the Rings, which, we all grew up on the Lord of the Rings movies, and I will rewatch them a million times over, and it will never get old, because it's an escape from this world for me. And I want to be in right at the moment Aragorn becomes king.
So, watching this, you wouldn't have to read those other books, right? Or would you?
Well, I think in this case you would have wanted to have read the books. Okay. And granted, I just don't have the time.
Here's the money
I would want to.
Maybe
I really would.
someday when you're 80 and retired.
I feel like I think it's essential information to have read the books, at least the Silmarillion and some other, aforementioned texts. But I don't think it'd be essential, because frankly those books are so unread. Mm-hmm. Like, there are so many of them that I don't feel like they're popular. Like, people don't go to the bookstore and they're like, I want to read the Silmarillion. They're like, I want to read the Lord of the Rings. So I think that would be a tough bet for the producers of the show to assume that people have read those books.
I think and again, I just mildly educated guess here. I would bet money that had they handled it the way that Disney's been handling The Mandalorian. You don't need to have watched Clone Wars and Rebels to understand who Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan are. The show gives you just that baseline level of she's an ex-Jedi and knows the ropes and can help Din. And she is the former Mandalore and also needs Din's help. Go. And drop nuggets so that people who aren't familiar with the source material that those characters came from get interested, but not so much that they are confused by it. I would not be surprised if that's what they do with the Lord of the Rings show, where there will be things that have a broader context than the layman will understand, but will still make sense for the layman. Mm-hmm. And again, the nice thing about kind of like the nerd renaissance that has happened, largely thanks to the MCU, is that you have myriad websites, podcasts, YouTube channels that all traffic in the, here's this thing that's popular. They dropped a lore nugget that confused a lot of people. Here's a 10-minute video explaining what the hell is going on. Like, I think, and I know this isn't the Star Wars show, but I think Solo did a really good job at showing how much studios don't need to hold the general audience's hand when they had Maul cameo. Mm-hmm. And because even the people who were really confused by it were able to just look at a website or article or video or whatever that went, yes, that was Darth Maul at the end of Solo. No, this movie does not take place before The Phantom Menace. Let us explain. I think there's enough of a network of content to hold the viewer's hand if they want to know, and that the writers will do a good enough job that you don't need to know going in. At least that's what I hope. Because I know I'll be very lost and very confused otherwise. And I do really want to watch this show.
Did you watch all of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I own them, and they are still in the saran wrap.
When I was little, my
Sir, I'm
brother...
gonna fight you.
I know. I have played Shadow of Mordor.
Worth it.
My
Very
older
much
brother
worth it.
was very much into it. And I remember when I was like 6 and he was in high school watching it. And I was just in the room for it. But my mom never let me watch it because she didn't like it. So I just never touched it. And then by the time I was old enough to watch it on my own, there was just so much that I didn't feel like.
It is definitely one of those franchises that is really intimidating. Like, the closest I've ever come to understanding how intimidating Star Wars must be as a fandom, with technically, 12 movies, if you count Clone Wars and the one-offs. Like 4 TV shows with how many more on the way, and all the books and all the video games. That is the closest I've ever come, like, looking at Lord of the Rings going, I don't know where to even start.
Yeah, it's a very big franchise.
Luckily, I had Spencer and Joel in like very early in high school tie me down and go, we're making you watch Lord of the Rings, but we're making you watch the extended editions, which was a
Listen,
hoot.
okay, so I have to say this because I feel like I've done a very poor job at expressing how much I love Lord of the Rings and how much I know of Lord of the Rings.
That's his Sting replica.
Yeah. The thing is I know a lot about the Lord of the Rings, and yet I have not had the pleasure of venturing into what would be considered the expanded universe of the Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, Mike has given me that wonderful book in Spanish that happens to be Los Hijos de Hurin. And I plan on reading it, but I also want to actually read this stuff in English at some point, right? And really actually get into the expanded universe of Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm just going to call it because I don't have a better words for it.
No, I think that's really fair, though, because there is so much more.
And you could ask me any question about the movies. Not the Hobbits, because the Hobbits are a disgrace.
I did see those.
They're a disgrace. Anyways,
They're fine. They're not good.
They're not good.
but they're fine.
I'll watch them. I will watch them because I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings, but I still think they're a disgrace.
Okay, that
They're like-
right there.
they're like
that
the
what you just
bastard
said.
child.
That's what you just said. That's why I watch Batman v Superman to get excited when it's on. That what you just said. I know it's bad, but because it's Lord of the Rings, I'm still going to watch it. That's how I am with
Yeah.
BVS.
And I'll put on the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, and I will know which scenes are only in the extended edition. If I watch the standard edition, I'm like, damn, that scene was crucial to the character development of Faramir, or something
that
like
shot of them walking, let me tell you.
that. Yeah. I mean, you notice those things, and I could quote every single line of the whole friggin' movie all the way through it, and that's one of the most annoying things for a lot of people when they watch it with me. So I apologize that I have not had the opportunity to delve into the expanded universe.
I do want to, because I know the cliff notes of it, but just as we're doing like a little Lord of the Rings lecture and we're doing okay on time, before we hop into WandaVision talk, Lexi was asking like why so many people are not super fond of the Hobbit trilogy. If you could give like a layman's answer to that one.
Well,
Because from what I understand,
it's okay to start. Just to start, creative liberties were taken, and those liberties were very, very wrong. There are so many discrepancies between the book and the actual story that shouldn't have occurred. There are certain casting choices that we are all very upset with, and it should not have been 3 movies. It should have been one singular movie. And then they were like, oh, we just got to stretch it out because we want to make a bunch of money. I'm like, well, now I hate them.
that's the main thing I remember is everybody that I saw somebody make the comparison of it would have been like if somebody made Rogue One into a trilogy.
Ugh.
Like trying to milk that
Yeah,
very
exactly.
finite story.
Well, the thing is in the book, they spend... Now, granted, it might have felt like this the 10 times I've read the book because it's a long freaking section of the book where they're in Fangorn Forest. I think it's Fangorn Forest. Whatever forest they go into. But they're in there. It feels like 100 pages of the book. Of course, you don't want to make a movie that has the majority of the movie of them in the forest. But they took like 2 seconds in the forest in the movies, and there were 3 movies. And those were crucial character development moments in the movie, in the storyline. You know, it, and then there's another thing. It's like, it feels like a children's movie where the Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings movies, as you were speaking, I wasn't allowed to watch it until I was like 16 years old. They're not supposed to be children's movies. And it felt like, now granted, it's because of one specific acting or one specific casting choice. It felt like Beauty and the Beast. If you know whom I'm referring to. Bard, the actor who played Bard,
No.
I think so.
played,
Oh, Dan Stevens. Or is it Luke
I don't
Evans?
know his name. The guy, it was,
It's Gaston, right? Live action
it's
Gaston.
Live action Gaston.
I'm pretty sure that's Dan Stevens. I might be wrong.
It felt like Beauty and the Beast because it felt like they were trying to appease the Disney crowd instead of the Lord of the Rings crowd.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yes, it's very frustrating.
And it also, in a weird way, it also mirrors Star Wars in that,
It does, yeah. I mean,
and at least from what, again, I haven't seen the Hobbit movies. You guys showed me the Lord of the Rings movies, and it's been a hot minute since I've watched any of them the whole way through. But the special effects in LOTOR look way better than the Hobbit trilogy. In that weird way that there's
Listen,
a lot of special
they were
effects in the
20
OT that
years
aged better than
different.
the PT.
they were released 20 years off from each other,
Yeah.
and the CGI looks worse and more fake than it did in the original trilogy.
Like the prequels.
And it just makes me so upset. They
Maybe
could
it's
have
just
put
a curse
so
of
much...
prequels.
Maybe. They could have put so much more effort into it and done it so much better than it was. And granted, again, I will still watch it. Because it's Lord of the Rings. That's it. My rant is over.
All right.
Speaking
you.
of things that we will keep watching WandaVision.
Yes.
We
Yes.
haven't even gotten to WandaVision.
Good segue. It's all right. I think this is mostly going to be theory crafting, honestly, because the first 2 episodes were good, really good. I enjoy them a lot. Did we lose audio completely, or was that just on
That
our
was just
end?
me.
He just
Okay. Okay.
turned a knob.
I don't know
So,
why I turned a knob. I just felt like it.
so it's like,
there.
this
I
looks
got
important.
This is why I love Joel.
I do stupid shit all the time. Like whack my head against the light 10 times over.
Oh my god! A part of me wants to be like, take a drink, take a shot every time Joel hits his head off the light. But
I'd be drunk in 20 minutes.
I would be staggering. I'd be hitting my head off the light.
WandaVision.
WandaVision. I love the intro sequence for the second episode. Way too much, like the knockoff Bewitched stuff.
Yes.
So just going down the line, quickie thoughts. Spoiler warning. Y'all are warned. Joel, earmuffs. Lexi, thoughts on the first 2 episodes?
Oh my. I really liked it. I liked the vibe, but the thing is, I was like glued to the screen trying to figure out stuff. So I don't think I need to rewatch it so I can like enjoy it. But I really liked it, and I was surprised at how like short it felt. Short, the episodes.
They were.
Yeah.
They were each like half an hour.
So we were done with the second episode, and I was like, I want more.
I'm super excited for this Friday because going with the way that they're sectioning it off, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to get like a 70s era vibe. Mm-hmm. So we're going to basically get WandaVision Brady Bunch.
Or, there's another one that I don't have in my head at the moment. But yes. I'll tell you later once I remember it.
Okay.
There's a few different shows that it could be
That's true.
mirroring.
I'm predicting Brady Bunch. Because I know they said that the final chunk is going to be the sitcom mockumentary style, like Modern Family or The Office. And after seeing what they've done with the first 2 episodes, I'm going to use my one. It's been all episode. I cannot fucking wait for the like Office style confessional with Vision just sitting down in front of a camera trying to explain why his telepathy and ability to phase through things is actually really difficult to work with.
So what was it? It was 50s, 60s. Now it's going into the 70s.
Yeah.
So what? The first one was what? I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy. I know the theme song and the intro is meant to parody Dick Van Dyke Show.
Okay. And then Bewitched.
Then Bewitched.
Whatever. I guess Brady Bunch-esque show.
Yeah.
But I really like that. I like that so much. And yeah, it's cute. It's cute, but it's a little creepy. And I don't know. Like, I love that, but it leaves you feeling kind of...
Yeah, it makes you. It feels gross because the cognitive dissonance of the story it's telling feels so weird.
The decades thing checks out because we'll cap at 7 episodes in the 2010s, which will probably be the Office episode, and then episode 8 will be real world, whatever the hell's going on with real life stuff.
Mm-hmm. But I really like it, and I want more.
So, I've been doing some research, and I have some theories, but I want to talk about that at the end. Travis, thoughts on these first 2 episodes?
Was good, did like, am curious.
Thank you. He's illiterate. It's fine.
I don't know how this bit has stayed for so long. One of us offhandedly said Travis can't read one time.
No, it's because I do the SpongeBob thing. The
Well, I
plankton.
can't read.
Yeah. Why aren't you running? Well, I can't read.
Which is fair. I remember that was a joke at one point where like Travis can't read, and now you've just been like flanderized to the point where you're just a mouth breathing like invalid.
I think I have lost brain cells over this bit. I think I've made myself dumber involuntarily.
You can't. No one commits to a bit harder than Travis. Not even me. Even I can't do it. No, I will say, Lexi, I kind of did the reverse of you, my first watch, where I was watching just to like enjoy the period sitcom.
Yeah, I was just too. I know I'm supposed to be seeing things.
And then I went back where I was like, okay, it's detective time. Like, we need to find what's
because
going on
I noticed
here.
the black book thing, and you're like, the what? And I was like, the black notebook.
Yeah, well, because like when we were talking about it, I occurred to me like, oh yeah, they closed the book, and then you guys kept talking about there was something on the book.
He was like writing in it, and there was a thing on the book, and you're like, what?
Looking back on the book and on one of the computer screens in that same scene is a sword symbol, which for those of you at home who are not familiar, sword is basically Shield 2.0 in some versions, Space Shield in others. It's kind of implied that's what Nick Fury's getting up to at the end of Far From Home, where he's in space. Which all of this and how it's all connected is really, really quickly starting to make sense. With that linchpin of sword in the center. The helicopter that Wanda finds also is adorned with a sword symbol. And I haven't, like I said, I've avoided all the trailers because I wanted to go in cold. However, I haven't watched any of the trailers, but from what I understand from clips, there is footage of people and objects being repelled by Wanda and whatever's going on. And I think that that helicopter is either a manifestation of something that tried to penetrate whatever field is going on here, or tried to get involved somehow. And also, I believe she says her name. What did she say her name is? Bernadette.
Yeah.
At the meeting. That's Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
Who, for those of you at home who don't remember, that's actually the little girl from Captain Marvel, all grown up. Here as Quasar, I believe is her hero name. But Monica Rambeau is already in there. We have no evidence of Wanda ever crossing paths with Monica. So I think that either literally there is some type of weird psychic field here, or mentally Monica has found a way to penetrate whatever bubble they are in and is boots on the ground inside of this vision. No pun intended. Also, looking into it, I think Agnes might be a play on the character Agatha, whom in the comics works directly for Mephisto, whom, for those of you at home, is Marvel Satan.
It sounds like if I was to give into a stereotype and talk about Mephisto.
You're fired. And there is a storyline where Mephisto, short for Mephistopheles, we're just going to call him Mephisto, where Mephisto and Agatha trap Wanda and Vision with the expressed intent of them reproducing and creating some type of like superpowered baby hybrid of the two. Ew. For the children.
Oh.
Ew. But yeah.
So I think Agatha is
I just thought it was QAnon.
Yeah, it feels like it's QAnon. But in some way, I think Agnes is a play on Agatha. Okay. And I think she knows. Especially, and it was one of the, and I felt like such a moment that we were supposed to hang on at the PTA meeting or whatever the hell it was, or the planner meeting, where she goes, ooh, the devil's in the details. And Agnes leans over and goes, that's not the only place he is. That felt so deliberate. That felt like it was supposed to be a moment.
Well, that's what I was trying. I personally was. I heard that and I was sitting there thinking. I was like, "What's that supposed to mean?" I don't like that. That's. It seems like that's supposed to mean something, but I wasn't sure if I was just being like over the top with things meaning things or.
No, in the way that it's also because it feels like Agnes is in on it. The way she keeps showing up, the way that, and again, maybe I'm overanalyzing, but I'm going to take my goodwill I earned for doing pretty well with the boys and apply it here. the way that she's reacting to everything going on around them feels like she knows what's up. Like there's a part of her, because like there's the bit when she first shows up in the first episode where the boss and his wife are there and she sees Vision for the first time and she checks him out. And in the next episode, she checks out the mailman. And at first it feels like, oh, she's just, you know, the silly, like, oh, she almost feels like a Sex and the City character. You know? Nice, Joel.
I just
And then on rewatch, it feels like she's making sure everything's like up to code.
well, you were asking me if she was like the main villain. I don't, and I think you've gotten away from that. But I was saying I don't think she is the main villain, but I think she's helping to orchestrate something.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. The more I've been thinking about it, and the more I I knew about the Agatha Mephisto stuff before, but it didn't click until I started reading up on some of the theories that are circulating, and it's making more and more sense that maybe if we really want to get weird and we really want to go all in, it's Mephisto. Which would be a damn good villain for Doctor Strange 2, which we know Scarlet Witch is going to be in.
Yeah, that checks out.
So I am the theory flag that I'm going to plant now is that Sword is monitoring Scarlet Witch. And because of the voice we hear come over the radio with the whole Wanda, who is doing this to you? I think the idea that you and I were toying around with, that this is her trying to cope with the trauma, like this is her projecting something that's ripping the universe apart. Somebody is playing with her head. There's an outside force that is messing with her. Sword is trying to monitor her, bring her back, and figure out what the hell is going on. And Agnes most likely is an Agatha figure, or they're going to go full Marvel in the way that they love to combine villains, and they're going to combine Agatha and Mephisto. And Agnes might just be presenting in the Agatha role right now, but will later be revealed to be a form of Mephistopheles.
I hope they do two separate characters, but that'd be cool too, I guess.
And I'm very curious as to where we go from here, especially with the baby bump bit. And it's going to take a lot to get me off the Mephisto train because of the For the Children stuff and the fact that she's pregnant now.
Yeah. So, pardon me. We're all yawning now.
Yeah.
The bees.
I got nothing for the bees.
It's just Nicolas Cage.
I did see, we do know who is behind the mask. Only because somebody took the image and like turned the brightness all the way up. There's no big reveal as to who's in the suit. It's a stunt actor who has worked on an assload of MCU projects.
Okay.
So there's no big reveal for who's behind the mask unless they just had a body double in for that scene and maybe they take it off and it's like...
It just felt so
stark.
creepy that it happened and then they like rewound.
No. That, which...
They rewound it and then all of a sudden... Ew. Then baby.
Then baby.
This is more of a like comic book X-Men thing with Wanda. When she went to say no, did you just get a little bit anxious for more mutants coming after that? Or was it just me who irrationally went, no, not House of M. Please don't House of M already. We don't even know the mutants. Please don't genocide them all now. I was too invested. I wasn't thinking straight, but that was cool. And then other little nuggets that are around in there that I liked a lot was, and it's in the second episode, what I was talking about before with Strucker's castle. Whenever she rounds the corner, it's just the castle her and Quicksilver were held in Age of Ultron. It's just on the wall. Not as a picture, it's just that castle being superimposed on the wall. And then it's gone when she walks away. The Stark Watch
No, Stark Toaster.
Or Stark Toaster, and then it was the Strucker Watch.
Yeah.
I think it is very deliberate that we got Tony, or Stark Industries, but by extension Tony, who is the reason why Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are villains in Age of Ultron at first. Because there's the whole thing with them being trapped in the ruins of their home and just looking at the Stark Industries logo on a missile and knowing that's the source of their woes. Being followed up in the second episode with a Hydra watch from the brand Strucker. Mm-hmm. I feel like those two being placed there are too deliberate. And we had this conversation on the phone. I really think whatever ad break we get in episode 3 is going to involve Ultron in some way.
Yeah. So, I know I asked you this before, but for sake of the show, what was with the two people in the ads again? Weren't those somebody? Didn't you say that?
I don't remember off the top of my head. What you figured out, was that the voice on the radio is the cop from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
The people in the ads, I'm not sure about.
I know you told me those two were...
Just that the ads themselves revolve around Stark.
I swear you told me the other night that the woman and the man were somebody you've seen before.
I don't remember off the top of my head. That maybe I zeroed in so much on like the other theory stuff that I forgot that, but off the top of my head, I can't remember if there's anything significant about them. The most significant things I remember from the ad breaks are that it's Stark and then Strucker, and it can't not be something Ultron related in the third one. But like you said, the voice on the radio in episode 2 is the cop from Ant-Man and the Wasp, who clearly is working for SWORD now. And they even say in Ant-Man and the Wasp that he's ex-SHIELD, right?
I believe.
So that would make sense if he's a former SHIELD agent that Fury or whomever scooped him up to get back into the biz. But yeah, we also know that Paul Bettany teased that there would be an MCU cameo that we weren't expecting. That fans
Randall Park.
Randall Park, thank you.
Was the actor's name.
I really hope that cameo is James Spader, and that if the ad itself isn't Ultron, that we see the return of Ultron in some way, shape, or form. I will be okay with the fact if we don't get full metal maniac, there's no strings to hold me down Ultron. I can live with that, but my God, if he shows up in any way, I'm going to be so happy. And he has him listed on the website, or on Google, the website. On the website of Google.com.
Google.com.
So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm looking forward to where it goes. There is a little bit of a part of me that because I haven't been trying to like piece shit together from the trailers, hopes that episode 3 proves everything I just said wrong so that I can go back to the drawing board because I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. So are they doing 2 at a time like they did this time, or are they doing 1 episode now?
I think they're just doing 1 episode now. I think the 2 is because they're shorter and they wanted to get it rolling. Mm-hmm. Unless somehow they can keep up, because again, their goal is to have something Disney Plus exclusive drop on Disney Plus every week for the year, which they can do if they don't do 2 episodes a week. Because
by the time this wraps up, or maybe they might have a little bit of a grace period. Because I know Netflix is doing like the movie every Friday thing, but they might have a grace period where, and I don't think they're going to do 2 episodes at a clip either. But they could pull it off if it's 2 episodes and then they give us like 2 or 3 weeks off, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts, and then they give us 2 or 3 weeks off, and then Loki starts, and they give us 2 or 3 weeks off, and then the Book of Boba Fett.
That or like the little stuff comes in between. Because at this rate, it's 8 episodes, right? It's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
They will finish well before Falcon and the Winter Soldier's release date, so they might have like another small thing cooked in there for a month.
Maybe like a Disney gallery.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff.
I'm very excited to see how this pans out. Joel, on a scale from 1 to 10, how confused are you?
I completely zoned out.
Good. Good.
Power of man.
I'm really good at zoning out.
In surgery.
Do you? Yeah. Joel's just
Lord of the Rings.
it's that goddamn scene in the forest. God fucking cut. Oh no, that's your trachea. Anyway.
No. It's the scene from the opening of Doctor Strange where instead of him having to guess the song or whatever, it's
Was the scene in the theatrical cut?
No, it's just it's you having to finish Lord of the Rings quotes while you're doing brain surgery.
Easy.
That might be one of my favorite joke lines in all of the MCU. With Chuck Mangione, Feels So Good, 1976. 75, 76. Google it. Of course I remember it. The man got on the top 100 with a flugelhorn, Jim. I don't know why. That is just one of the best lines in the entire MCU. And it's mostly because Benedict Cumberbatch said flugelhorn. But yeah, I think that is all we got for this first episode back of
What an episode
TNAP.
it has been.
What an episode indeed. With that, Joel, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
Twitter, Jay the Sentinel, Best and Bacon Cosplay on Instagram.
That was quick.
Yeah. Lexi, where can the lovely people find you?
LexiLion98 on Twitter. And the other one, Acapella98 on
The other
Instagram.
Travis? Where?
Travis Political on Twitter and Instagram.
His tummy was sticking out.
It was.
It's on video.
The table made that a little bit more ambiguous as to what I was doing there. His tummy was out.
Jared?
Yeah.
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.
There's nothing there.
Podcast.
Damn it!
Podcast.
I got it back and then I lost it.
First one of the year, babe.
www.
The nerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon. Where at the $5 tier, you get access to the audio commentary tie-ins for Nerd Academy Movie Club. You get Heroic History 101, hosted by us two schmucks. You get the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series. Our first episode back, Darth Crate versus Darth Revan, is up on the Patreon now. And Spencer and I should be recording Rey Skywalker versus Barriss Offee later this week. What was the face?
You change the way you say things every time. You used to say Ophi. Now it's Offie.
In my defense, I've been rewatching Clone Wars recently, and they also say it interchangeably, and that one was on the mind. I was watching Clone Wars with Kira earlier.
Yeah, okay.
I
I wish you guys could see what Joel just did.
do too.
I'm
Joel
really
almost
struggling. I think
ate
we're,
shit.
I can't talk for you two, but Jared and I are struggling.
Yeah, you guys have been great. I've been damn near food poisoned, and Joel just can't stand up straight.
I can't stand up. I keep hitting my head on things. I'm trying to fix the freaking camera that won't work.
It's because you're hitting your head on things.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe I should just stay away. 1 week, everyone, I'm gone.
Please don't. And on the $10 tier, or speaking of, God damn it. Case and Brie on the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Canals. You guys help us pick the content we love to produce, and we cannot thank you enough.
You.
Yes, thank you. I don't know why you guys pay for this at this point, but I'm not going to tell you to stop.
They feel bad for us.
Oh, yeah, that.
Merch.
Yes. And if you would like to support the Nerd Academy even further, you can go to our merch store, the student store link on our website. Take you to our TeePublic page. You can get all manner of Nerd Academy goodies. That hoodie, that shirt, the sticker on her phone. My phone is the camera right now, but I have a very nice Nerd Academy phone case on it.
That can.
I got Nerd Academy sticker right there. I got another one over here, but you can't see that either.
This TV.
We got this TV on our TeePublic. TeePublic sells TVs now.
TV Public.
TV Public.
This is a stupid bit. I'm sorry you pay for this.
I'm just trying to see how far I can get him to commit at this point.
This editing software is from TeePublic. As you can see, because we have our logo in the corner.
We are from T Public.
Yes, we are
just
T Public's
waiting to
failed
hit the end to
experiment.
record.
For the T Public.
You can do it at any point.
They're gonna drop our podcast merch now.
They
Think
better.
someone's gonna see this.
Uh,
You son of a bitch.
End it.
Okay.
Cool.
goodbye.
Bye.